If you look statistically across the United States, the actual percentage of people, now I've seen different stats, so I'm going to just say the one I've seen perhaps most commonly is something only like 5% of the people in the United States do any estate planning at all. So the next situation is Al and Lulu. And Al and Lulu Johnson are a couple that haven't done a very good job of planning. They're pretty old, and they do have memory issues. They are living in memory care. They have other problems beyond just that. They have 2 children, but the children are not in agreement on many issues. The parents own a home, and it's been sitting unsold for a number of years, vacant, probably because the boys couldn't agree on what to do. They are in a situation presently that is not going to be able to continue to meet their increasing care needs. So they're in a facility, but their care needs are increasing, and so they're going to have to do something. And actually, the need for the something is urgent. And I said they have no estate planning documents. Are we too late for Al and Lulu? Start with you, Krista.
So I think Al and Lulu, this is the perfect example of how the probate court is a benefit, is a solution for this family. There was an immediate need to have a surrogate decision maker in place. So the ability to tap into the probate court to appoint a guardian is very similar to a patient advocate, and a conservator, which is very similar to a power of attorney, was absolutely needed. But if we take a step back and look at the human aspect of it, so the authority is there. The court has provided the authority. But this family has gone through a trauma. A, through the transition of the disease. B, having no estate planning and having to go to probate court. Now, I want you to vision this. We have a probate court that is jam-packed, as Dawn said, with individuals that don't have an estate plan. So in order to get this authority, the family had to go to probate court and sit in a courtroom with multitudes of other family, maybe a crying child, maybe a mental health patient, and sit in front of the judge at a bench while testimony is being put on the record as to why mom and why dad are legally unable to care for themselves. So let's talk about this. It's not saying that the solution was wrong. They needed to have surrogate decision makers in place. But the process to get there was timely, was costly, was emotionally draining. And the biggest fear, right, that these 2 individuals had, right, taking away my control and ability to make a plan just happened. So the 2 brothers are witnessing this, right? And so just imagine they're already, like their nervous system, their anxiety, their intensity is already at a level 10. And once you go to probate court, you're there for the long haul. You don't just get to go in and leave. There's constant supervision. So if you want to sell that property, you have to go in and potentially get a court order and prove why the value of that offer is prudent. 2, you have to report to the judge that what you are doing from a care perspective is appropriate. Now we have 2 sons that are doing this, right? They're starting to disagree. Now let's give them a benefit of the doubt. They're tired. They're exhausted. They don't have a plan. They have a court system, and they have parents that are in need of so much more care. Well, I'm going to tell you something. The judges are humans too, but they see this every single day. And if there is a situation that they think that the 2 fiduciaries, either the guardian and or the conservators, cannot get along and are not acting in the best interest of these 2 individuals, judges have in their discretion the ability to say, you can't do it anymore. You're done. We've given you a chance, you cannot work together, and now you no longer are in this role. So we're going to appoint a third party to come in that does not know you, does not know mom and dad, and it has a caseload of, I don't know, hundreds just like you. So again, the situation at hand, is the probate court helpful? Absolutely. Is the authority needed? Absolutely. Now, how do we go about making a very stressful situation, a very traumatic situation, and bring down everybody's nervous system, right? And start having two people that are about to collide and potentially have a third party appointed to take care of mom and dad come into place. And that's where a neutralizer is so, so important.
You hire a care manager. So this is a great situation for a care manager to walk into because you basically become a moderator. Family dynamics are messy, but I'm a moderator that's focused right on mom and dad and focused on the care needs at hand. And I'm the moderator between not just the brothers, but also between them and the facility because everybody is frustrated with each other, right? So the other thing too is a care manager understands the cost of all these things. So when I'm going to come in and meet Al and Lulu, I need to understand what the cost of bringing in private care duty versus the cost of moving them to long-term care versus, to try to figure out what they can afford because that information the trustee really has to process that. So the care manager is helping the trustee in their role too determine what our options even are. This situation was brought to us by the primary care, and when the son called, he said, I don't even know what you do, but the doctor said I need you. And I've heard this in doctors' offices too. You need her. So to look at mom and dad first, the sons are exhausted and they're just like, everything's bad. Well, I see that mom has Alzheimer's, and I see that mom is losing her safety awareness about herself, and mom is having more falls, and a lot of falls for senior citizens in particular happen in the bathroom. Slippery floors, and it's you have to go in the middle of the night too, right? So when you no longer have that safety awareness to understand what is something you can do by yourself and not, we can't expect mom to use a call light to call for an aide to come help her go to the bathroom. So it became very obvious that we needed more eyes and we needed constant supervision for Al and Lulu. So bringing in a private care duty from a reputable company is going to be the fastest way to secure the safety of mom and dad, but then really be able to sit back and look at the whole picture, right? And then really start to delve down into, are they appropriate to stay here in memory care, or do we need them to move them to long-term care or to a different facility? Care managers also have abilities to, work with the facilities and maybe even negotiate the prices for the clients. So,
Jamie, are you saying that they thought they were going to have to leave the facility, but maybe it's possible they can stay?
I am saying that, Dawn.
That's what I thought you were saying. So not always is what families are being told
Right.
the truth.
Well,
Maybe
and it's a solution somebody who sees a little bit of the snapshot of the picture. It's just like when you share anything with anybody else, right? You get a bunch of opinions. So the care manager can kind of come in and be the decision that's going to most effectively improve the quality of life for Al and Lulu. So also with having extra support in the room, we actually decreased infection rates, and we don't have mom and dad running out to the hospital all the time because we have a cleaner living space for them just by having extra hands in the room and someone to help them wash their hands after toileting. That's like the #1 way to prevent infections. So we also really simplified their living space and really tried to streamline their supplies, just make caregiving make sense and simplify it, and even being able to tell the adult children, these are the needs. We just need X, Y, and Z, and they're all set, right? So you are, like Kristen said earlier, the boots on the ground, you're the frequent check-in, but then you're there to continue walking that walk with the aging parents, as well as with those adult caregivers, and helping guide them as to when you're going to need to make a change to long-term care, or when we're going to need to bring in hospice. Just kind of being that sounding board, but more so that navigational tool for the family.
And let's focus on the sons. They were faced with lots of decisions. They weren't coming together as to what would be the best thing for mom and dad. But let's factor in they're witnessing their mom and dad declining. They're in memory care for a reason. They both have dementia. How hard is it for sons to, and family members to go in and not be recognized? To see that they're deteriorating, aside from the fact that they're living in another care community. They're not providing the care, they're overseeing that. So what can we do to help the sons kind of have some greater peace and understanding about the end journey of their parents? So the Alzheimer's Association is a wealth of information. We do have lots of resources on the back table for you. But as a support group facilitator, I facilitate not only early stage support group for those that are newly diagnosed, so they can talk about their frustrations and how they cope, but also for the caregivers and the care partners that are dealing with end-of-life issues as well. When you travel that journey and you see that progression moving forward, there is a conclusion, there is an end, and it's a long goodbye that we have every single day. And how many family members have said when they enter a care community, I don't know who I'm going to meet today. And that's their loved ones. So they have to really psych up oftentimes to just walk through that door. So how can we help these sons? Support groups are wonderful. They are nationwide. They're virtual. They became virtual due to COVID. And we find that that is a wonderful way to still stay connected in the comfort of your own home at a time that's convenient. So we offer so many times and so many different venues in which to get support. We also have our 24/7 helpline. This is manned by master clinicians. They're versed in over 200 languages, so we try and meet everybody. But 24 hours a day, 3 in the morning, I'm feeling so guilty. I don't know what to do. I'm having a situation with my mom. She's trying to leave the house. These are individuals that you can call and receive valuable guidance, on-the-spot information. Our ALZ Navigator, this is an online program that you can map out plans. You can share with your family and your friends how mom and dad are doing, as well as ALZ Connected, which is an online message board. And you can connect with other individuals across the nation, over 50,000 members that are on that board, sharing their thoughts, sharing their coping mechanisms, their ideas, and just not feeling alone. I want you all to know that when we talk about our aging population, dementia-related disease is not part of normal aging. It is not something that I would want you to expect when someone gets older. We are not supposed to be diseased and lose our ability to live a whole life. So the Alzheimer's Association is there as a valuable resource, along with the wonderful services that we are collaborating with to deal with life situations, and exactly what it is, real life people living lives.
I feel better after hearing the solutions that might be available to them.